Hey everybody, it's Brent Harvey with A-Hole Productions, and today is that motivational day we call Monday. Today, I want to talk about thriving and surviving. I want you to quit surviving, and I want you to start thriving. What I mean by that, I don't mean quit your job. You don't have to quit your job. What you do have to do is change your mindset and redirect your finances. Meaning, first of all, it's not a survival job. It's your dream fund, right? Now, it's a survival job if you're spending as much or more than you actually make. We talked about this before about being able or willing to burn the ships, live in the car, do all that other stuff. If you look at your life, you can get rid of stuff. You have way much more than you actually need. You could downgrade. Now, if you were to get rid of some stuff and be able to put money aside to invest in your career, into making a film, making a web series, whatever it is, you're no longer survival mode. You're now thriving. You have money set aside. You can do things with. You can invest. You can promote yourself. You can put on a play, whatever it is, right? We all have hustles. And so many people I know that are artists, actors, directors, writers, whatever it is, they're ashamed of their hustle. They're like, oh, I'm a server. I drive Uber or whatever it is. It's okay. It's okay. I don't want you to be ashamed of the hustle. I want you to think of it like your dream fund. Like you get. I talk about this in my little videos on Instagram and stuff like that. Is like, stop saying I have to go to work. Say I get to go to work. I get to go to work. I don't have to go. I get to go to work. You have a job. I've heard this before where they said, someone said, you know, if you had a job you didn't like, and then you lost that job, and 6 months went by and you didn't get another job, and then that job came back, offered you the same job back at the same amount of money, you'd be happy to take it because you're tired of being broke, you're tired of surviving, you're tired of going hungry. So the job's not the problem, the hustle's not the problem is your mindset. I want you to start thinking of it like, this goes back to the gratitude thing, like you get to go to work. You get to do these things because you have a job. And when the economy's bad and people are fighting for jobs, you're very grateful to have a job. But just because the economy right now might be going good, don't take it for granted. Like you get to make money doing this thing. If you don't like it, figure out another way to make more money or change jobs. But here's the thing. No matter where you go, there you are. If you can learn to be happy in the situation you're in now and look at it as an opportunity, then you can do anything. You'll be grateful when you have a lot more money coming in, whatever it is. My point to this is this. It's okay to have a hustle, but it's not okay to pay bills. What I mean by that is, again, so many people are working jobs to pay bills. They're not working to set aside money to invest in their career, the thing that they moved to Hollywood or London or Atlanta or New York or whatever it is to do. Or if you're not in any of those cities, if you're still in middle America or any place in the world still living with your parents, if you're spending all the money that you're making and buying stuff that you really don't need unless it's equipment that you're investing to or knowledge, then you're just working to pay bills. It's okay to have a side hustle as long as you're utilizing it to invest in your career. You have a job is, you may have heard this before, just over broke. You don't want a job, you want a career. You want to build a career. So what you do is while you're building your career, you have a job that funds the career until the career takes off. So if you're making $12, $18 an hour, whatever it is, and you're spending the same amount of money and you're going paycheck to paycheck, you're not funding anything. You are just paying bills. Stop paying bills. I don't mean stop paying your bills. I mean stop buying more shit that you don't need. cut everything down. When I quit my full-time teaching job and I was like, I'm going to focus on my acting career, it changed. I had steady money for the first time in my life, the largest amount of steady money I had for years that I could count on. And I started buying stuff. I got a new car and I got these things I'd never had before. And I found that I was spending more money. Every time I made more money, I spent more money. And I was still paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. And then when I had to strip everything down because I wasn't making steady money like I was before, I realized what I actually could live off of and what I actually needed. And when I stripped it down to that, and then as money started to flow back in, I would pay what the necessities, and the rest of it I would just push over here so that I could fund my career. I could afford to go to that class. I could afford to post a video and promote it on Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is. I could afford to pay people, a DP, cinematographer, a scripter, whatever it is, or buy props for my short film or my web series, whatever it was. And all of a sudden my attitude about going and doing jobs or working for other people changed, because all of a sudden it's like when I was working, whether it was doing the mannequin thing that some of you see me do, the mannequins and things like that. Like that, I did that more to get out of the house because I was just in my apartment all the time working, writing scripts and producing things. I needed to be connected back to other people that weren't actors, and I needed another stimulation. But it was cool that when I got a paycheck and I put it in the bank, and I was off to, I didn't even, first I didn't have time to spend it, but second of all, I realized I didn't need to spend it. Like there was nothing I needed to buy at the time. And I wasn't in that addiction place where it's like I needed to fulfill something to make myself feel better or feel successful. So money just started stacking up. And it got to the point where money was coming in from all directions that like people were like, oh, I forgot to pay you this. And I was like, oh, wow. And that another, a couple $100 or $1,000 or whatever it was. And I was like, that's cool. And I could see it. And then I was like, it built my confidence. It made me, it turned the tables financially, because then I could go do whatever I wanted to do, and I could invest in the things I wanted to. And me now, I'm investing more and more into my career to do the things I need to do to move my career forward. Before it was like, well, I'll do that when I have the money, but now it's like when something comes up and I'm like, I need to do this thing, I need to promote this video, I need to hire somebody to help me do this project, whatever it is, the money's there. I'm not like, oh, well, I got to go out and work for it. And now, then, therefore, the job is no longer, I have to go do this. It's like, I get to do this. And it's more enjoyable because it doesn't feel like, oh, God, I got to grind and I got to grind and I got to grind just to make ends meet. Like, it's all icing on the cake now. So, I want you to stop surviving and start thriving. You can do it with the job you're doing right now. You just need to reprioritize what you're doing with your money. If you don't know how to manage a dollar right now, like most people don't, and you need to educate yourself on that, we'll talk about stuff like that more in other videos. But if you don't know how to manage a dollar, you won't be able to manage $20 million, because you'll just buy $20 million worth of stuff and you'll be broke again. If you make $100 million a year and you spend $100 million and $1, you're broke. So it's not about how much money you make, it's how much money you spend. So stop spending everything that you make. Sacrifice. As we talk about this, you have to sacrifice. To live the life you want to live, you have to do things people aren't willing to do. So I'm not saying don't enjoy life, but when I had to cut back and really watch the dollars, I started going to I found that a lot of museums have free admission. I started finding a lot of free things to do. I started getting creative. They were always there. I just didn't look for them because I thought the solution was always just pay for it. You'll be surprised when you limit yourself on your spending and go, I want to go do these things, but I'm not going to spend any money doing it, how creative you get and discover the things and they're actually more fun than just paying for things. You get very creative. And all of a sudden now the job becomes your career or your dream financer. So you got to change this. You got to change the perspective. You make $1,000 a month. 500 of it goes to bills. The other 5 of it you put to the side. Maybe $50 you spend for entertainment, and you sacrifice. And if you don't have money to go out, great. Stay in and create something. Create the thing that's going to change your life. Create the thing that's going to make you $1 million. Stop going out and just partying and things like that. You can party when other people are paying you to party, meaning like the people are throwing parties for you and they're giving you endorsements and all this other stuff because your career is just off and going. And you've heard it before, the rich stay rich because the rich people get things handed to them. Successful people get things handed to them. Your job is to stay in and create the thing, and that's a whole nother lesson. But my point is that you can not only survive, you can thrive and fund your dream with what you're making right now if you reprioritize. Okay, now I know some of you may have kids and things like that. Not every situation is ideal in that sense, but you can find ways. You can find ways if you really want to, which goes back to the lesson on the why. So stop surviving, start thriving. Mentally turn your job into, I get to do this. I get to do this thing. Start enjoying it. This supports all the lessons previous, is enjoy the journey. Enjoy the fact that you get to do this thing. And just every minute and hour that goes by that you're making money doing that thing, just think about how that money that you just made is going to go towards funding your dream somehow, some way. And that's why you're doing it. You're not doing it because you have to work for your boss or you're doing it for you. You are funding your dream. And if you remember that, then you're going to take that job more seriously. You're going to appreciate it more, and you're going to watch those dollars that you spend. So remember, don't be ashamed of the hustle, but don't pay bills. So remember, don't be afraid of the hustle, but don't just pay bills. All right? So, until next time, remember, here at A-Hole, we are just looking to influence and motivate and get the global artistic community connected and hope to inspire people to do great things and follow their dreams. So, if you like this video, like it, share it, put it out there, however, tag us and stuff, whatever you want to do. And leave comments and questions below because we love that stuff. We love to get the feedback. We love to, if there's questions, we get to answer them and hopefully help other people who aren't willing to ask the question, maybe. So don't steal that from them and help us all out because we're all in this together. Until next time, remember, A-Hole stands for awesome. We'll see you then.